I'm going to answer a question about trigonometry, and it involves an angle whose terminal side, so the x-axis is always considered one side of the angle, and this is quadrant 1, so here's quadrant 2. The terminal side of this angle is here in quadrant 2. And so the angle itself is it's this angle, but we can use this angle right here with the x-axis to get our answers. So if we make a triangle with pulling this down to the x-axis and then making the other side the x-axis, if you remember back, this is considered the opposite side, and this is considered the adjacent side, and this diagonal is the hypotenuse. So if they are giving us a cotangent of theta, and it equals -3/8, that means that the tangent of theta is -8/3. And we know that the tangent is the sine of theta divided by the cosine of theta. So what that means, and the sine, let me do it this way. Sine is associated with the y coordinate, or in this case, the opposite. And cosine is associated with x, or in this case, the adjacent. So that means that I can put these numbers on my triangle. So tangent has y on top. Now, y here is positive. So this is +8. And the negative goes with the 3 because it's to the left. So this is the -3. Now, the hypotenuse we find with a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So 8 squared plus b squared, which would be -3 squared, equals the hypotenuse squared, or c squared. Okay, so 8 squared is 64, and -3 squared is 9. So this is 73. And so that's the hypotenuse squared, or c squared. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have to take the square root of this, both sides, and that's how we get the hypotenuse. So this hypotenuse is the square root of 73. That's its exact value. Now, you have everything that you need to answer your questions, which are, what is the sine of theta? Well, it's the opposite over the hypotenuse, which makes it 8 over, I don't know if I have a square root symbol or not. Oh, maybe I can. Over the square root of 73. Let's see. Yes, look at that. There it is. So this is 8 divided by the square root of 73. That's the sine. And we also wanted to know the secant of theta. Well, the secant is the flip of the cosine. So first I'm going to find the cosine of theta. And that's going to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is negative 3 over, I guess I'm going to have to do it again, the square root of 73 but because it's the secant, we need to flip it. So the secant of theta, let's get this. So the secant of theta is 1 over that, or it is the square root of 73 divided by, I didn't need that to be blue, or dashed. There we go. So we're just going to flip this. It's going to be the square root of 73 over negative 3. And those are your exact answers. I can circle them in red if you would like. So here's the sine is 8 over the square root of 73. And here's the secant, which is negative radical 73 over 3. Thank you.